And welcome to another episode of Car Musings. I'm your host, Matt Morgan, and how are you doing today? What is new and exciting? Yeah, it's your host, Matt Morgan, and I want to thank you very much for tuning in today, as always. Thank you for being here. Thank you for dialing in to us and saying hey and checking us out and what's going on. And I hope you're doing well today or tonight or wherever it is at the point that you're listening to this episode. I'm out another early morning run. I think this is my lot in life. It'll never end. I have such a crazy busy day ahead of me, you know, errands and running around and responsibilities. And, you know, it's got me thinking, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, the usual drill, you know how it is. Yes, check out themadmorgan.com. My ghostwriter has, made a new article for me. So I'm going to have something else up there for you. But check it out because he, she, or whatever is putting a lot of effort into this stuff. And I don't know why, but they believe in our mission. They believe in what we do. So, keep them happy because they're doing it in their own free time. And I mean, I'm actually impressed. I really am because the quality of stuff that's coming out of this person. It's just, wow. All right. So, anyways, enough about that. Let's get into today. And I think what I want to talk today is, responsibilities, duties, or just because. I don't know. I think that's probably going to be our title responsibilities, duties, or just because. And I think what it comes down to is um, what we do in our life. Is it because we were needed to or expected to? We feel it's our duty to, or we just do it because I don't know. Just that's just the way we figure it has to be. I think what this comes down to is especially when people are setting examples in different roles whether or not they feel like something that they need to do or they don't need to do. Because I think there's a lot of irresponsibility when it comes to certain positions that people are in, that they should be doing something, they should be doing the right thing, they know better. They just, for some reason, figure, oh, well, it's below me, so I'm not going to follow the rules. I'm not going to follow what needs to be done, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, it really makes you sit back and go, huh, okay. Do you know what the right thing is to do? Do you not know what the right thing is to do? Do you know for a fact that you should be using a turn signal? Do you know that you shouldn't be speeding? Do you know that you shouldn't be an asshole tailgating? Um, do you know these things? These are part of your responsibilities of driving. Kind of like your responsibilities of being a parent, kind of like your responsibilities of, setting the example for your kids, kind of all those kind of examples that need to be set because it's your responsibility and your duty when it comes to, being in a position of a authoritative position or a influencing position. So whether or not you're a parent, whether or not you're a manager, whether or not you are somebody that's supposed to take, other people are supposed to take guidance from, are you living up to the responsibilities and duties that come with the position of what you're doing, right? That's what it comes down to. Are you living up to those things that you should be doing? And unfortunately, human nature is that we're a bunch of lazy fucks, and we don't mind the position because the power or the money or whatever it comes with it, but we don't always hold up to the responsibility. And honestly, that just makes us assholes. Which, frankly, the rest of the world looks at us like you should not be in your position. And it's true. There are a lot of people that should not be in their position. I see a lot of people that have kids that should not be parents. I see a lot of people that are driving that should not be driving. I see a lot of people in management positions that should not be managers. You know, it's the reality of it, or even owners for that matter. Jeez, I went into my car dealership the other day, and this is the same car dealership that I actually had an interview with weeks previously. And I sat there and I watched his staff that he deemed worthy to work for him. And I just sat there shaking my head, going, are you fucking serious? You wouldn't hire me, a veteran professional, years of experience and flexibility into the inner workings and you get me at a discount, but you're gonna hire these fucking morons? Subaru, seriously? Come on, get your fucking head out of your ass. Start thinking the right way. I mean, I couldn't believe that. I sat there going, "Are you fucking serious? You just suck in you know, your character judgment." I mean, I look at these kids going, "Are you fucking serious? How bad do you actually have to set somebody's viewpoint that you can't realize the potential in comparison to whoever you've actually taken on already?" You sit there and you go, "Okay, well, what's the common point I'm seeing?" And yes, folks, don't be flipped out on this one, but I'm seeing a common point here. All those fuckers that got jobs, yeah, they weren't white. They were not white at all. And I'm like, is that what it's come down to, world? You could be the worst person with the worst work ethic and everything else, but because you have a little melatonin in your skin, because you come from a visual minority, as you like to call it, you have access to a job, which frankly you suck at, but they're giving it to you because they feel sorry for you. Like, I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. So honestly, folks, there's a responsibility that you have to make sure everybody's treated fairly. And even before the current age, everybody should have always been treated fairly. If you could do the job, you get the job. Simple as that. There should be no external factors. Shouldn't come down to gender. Shouldn't come down to, your struggles that you have in life. Shouldn't come down to melatonin in your skin. Shouldn't come down to anything. Anyways, that will put that into the category and duties, responsibility things when it comes to, you know, that area of things. Because, as the world works, we need to have an income. Unfortunately, money is still a ruling factor. So, we still have to listen to these owners, these bosses, these people that run companies or own companies or whatever the case may be, and then actually give jobs to hire people to be able to make a paycheck to be able to live. Right? Yeah. It's just the way it is. But let's go back even earlier in that. Is the fact is that we got to look at who's the boss before you actually get a job, and that's going to be your parents. Hopefully, both your parents live up to their responsibilities and duties, and don't just wing it because they had a little exciting one night, little fuck fest, and basically all of a sudden, boom, you were born. You know, that's reality should not be put into reality. It should be something that's kept into consideration. That you don't just take the job because you did the deed. You should be ultimately living up to the responsibility of what needs to be done, and that is setting the example, teaching correctly, all that stuff. So this is all stuff that needs to be kept into consideration. This is all stuff that you should be living up to. Right? If you're going to have the title, if you're going to have the position, live up to it. Live up to it. I mean, there should be a pre-trial test before people can be in certain positions. Some people, I dare say more than some, are basically given positions that hold responsibility and duties without earning them, just because somebody needed to fill the position. There you go. Here's the position. Congratulations. Not because they qualify, not because they should have it, but it was given to them. They don't earn it. They suck at it. Once you're in it, you're in it. End of story. What are you going to do? So, there's responsibility and duty. Some people might argue it's the same thing, but no. Responsibility comes down to, something you should be doing. Duty comes down to something that you know, feel you ought to be doing, you know, because it's your honor at stake. It's your plight in life, whatever, however you want to term it. So, and then of course there's the whatever. It's just like, okay, well, somebody told me this is how it's got to be. Somebody told me that this is what I got to do. You know, in those particular scenarios, okay, If you don't care either single way, that's fine. But don't be surprised if you're removed from that position if you're just gonna half-ass it. Which unfortunately, the work ethic of Gen Z and beyond is basically a good portion of the time they're like that. Fuck it, I don't care either way. You know, and I don't know how the current generation was able to rewrite some of the rules and that we actually bend to them. They're like, oh, we don't like this, we're not going to do it. Okay, then you have a job. Okay, well, then we're all going to hold out and protest. You won't have anybody working for you. And you guys actually won that one. Don't be surprised if robots are going to be closer in the future than you think, because that kind of attitude, I think a robot could listen a lot better than some of these fucking snot-nosed kids. Just saying. Listen, folks, you have a responsibility to your fellow human. You have a responsibility to your neighborhood, your community. You have a you have a responsibility in general to be a good person. Being an asshole is not going to get you anywhere. It's going to get people teaming up against you because eventually enough is enough. How do you think empires and emperors are friggin' like abolished? Because people aren't going to take you being an asshole for so long until they all get together and go, okay, we're going to put an end to this, and they do. So yeah, you know be a decent human being. People actually want you around. you know Hold up to your responsibilities and duties. People are watching, my friends. Everybody's watching. Eventually your clock will run out. Your number will be called. you know you will have to answer for all of it. And at that point, yeah, it's. I mean, look at history. Just review our histories of how we've handled stuff over the centuries, and you will see this is not a new concept. This is a concept that's been around for a while. It's just whether or not somebody chooses to still acknowledge it today's date is a whole different story, right? So you kind of have to live up to what you need to do. Myself personally, yeah, I have responsibilities, and they're also my duties. I have a duty to my family because of them being there for me, but I still have a responsibility as being a parent and a husband and all that stuff. The whatevers, it comes down to I can only handle so much with everything else I have to balance. And the responsibility and the duties take precedence over everything else. So everything else that fits in the category just stays in the category. If I could do it, I do it. If I can't, I can't. I'm not going to fight the system. I'm not going to fight, you know, how that goes. I just have to roll with it. Because everybody else should roll with it. Just roll with it. You know, you can only do so much, but whatever you're supposed to do, be doing it. I don't know. I just I just sit back and I scratch my head a lot of the times because I'm constantly watching everything that's going on in the world, people watching and all that stuff like that. And it's funny if I could actually write a daily report to submit to everything I've observed to those people that I've observed it from. I think it would be interesting that people would actually like. Can you imagine getting a daily report on what the observation is of everybody of you on a daily basis? Stuff that you're completely oblivious to, stuff that you don't really understand and know that's going on, and that people are actually looking at you going, huh? It'd be interesting. It would be interesting to have that, right? It's like somebody sitting on your shoulder, just stalking you for everything that you do during a day, and then giving you a report that everything you did not do. That would, I think, frankly, help people maybe grow if they really cared, right? Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Can you imagine how much of self development that would be? I mean, I think it would be a good idea. Hey, by the way, Bob, this is what you did today. This is what the rest of the world saw. This is the opinion polls on you today. You know, I don't know. I just think that would be kind of interesting to comprehend, deal with, everything else. I don't know. I just think it would be kind of a neat thing to experience. Maybe, who knows? It'll be something that'll come about, and hopefully we would take that information, learn from it, and learn to be better. You know, I don't know. I think it would be the accountability would just be crazy because that's the big problem when it comes to the human species is accountability. You know, if they could be anonymous and think that they can get away with being bad, they're going to. They're going to act bad. They're going to say bad things and everything else. If they figure there's no consequence, oh, that's when the dark side comes out. Really, really. Well, there's two trains of thought on this. It's either, you know, when they figure they can get away with it, the bad side comes out, or when they got nothing to lose, the bad side comes out. Like, you know, more so in the meh category, but more so in the I don't really give a fuck because I got nothing else to lose. You know, and I hate to say it, folks, but I'm at that point where I don't give a fuck. So, you know, I don't give a fuck because I got nothing else to lose. So somebody's got to give me something to lose sometime soon, or otherwise, some people are gonna have a bad day. Because I'm gonna start fucking just spitting truth more than I already do. Oh, I tell you, when the gloves are off, folks, gloves are off. Anyways, back to the topic at hand: responsibility, duties, and hold up your responsibilities, whatever capacity it is. Okay. If you're married, don't cheat on your spouse. If you have kids, be a parent to them. If you've got duties of a job and the title that you have, do the fucking job. You know, if people are kind to you, show kindness in return. If you know somebody needs a helping hand, give them a helping hand. If your family is, in a tough position, give more support and be there for them. Like all this stuff, it shouldn't be rocket science. It should just be common human decency. It should be something that you just do because you do it because it falls into the categories that we mentioned. Responsibility, yeah, there's a level of responsibility that you have, and there's a duty that you have. Know the difference between the two. Responsibility is a choice that you made or from the position that you have. Duty is also somewhat the position that you have because you made that commitment. So live up to it. For fuck's sakes, live up to it. You know, it's absolutely stupid for you to try to think that you can fool everybody with all this stuff. And man, if you're in a man position when it comes to stuff that somebody else could be doing better, then step down from whatever you're doing and let somebody else who cares do it. Like seriously, because you get the credibility for it, you get the props, you get the woohoo, good jobs. No, 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 no. If you're not willing to give it all, then don't do it. Don't meh it, you know, because it might just fit into one of the more important categories of responsibilities and duties, and you're failing at it. Like, fuck, get your head out of your ass. Seriously. Anyways, something to think about, something to keep in mind, something to, you know, jumble around in your head for today. But do give it some thought. Like, just like everything that we talk about in our episodes, just give it a thought and really make some better choices. We're all guilty of it, but just make some better choices and live up to what you're supposed to be doing. You know, there's 8 billion people on this planet now, unfortunately, and life's going to get pretty dicey in the years to come. If you don't start making better choices and be a better person, your days are numbered. They really are. Because eventually the masses will take stock of who's an asshole and who's not, and they're going to start eliminating the assholes. So You might want to make better choices so you don't fit on the short list of assholery, and you have many better years ahead. Just saying. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up for today. I got stuff I gotta get to and everything else, and it's gonna be a crazy busy day. And I've already done stage one of many for today. So, anyways, I want to thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode of Car Musings. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Keep your stick on the ice. Be a good person. You know, help out others. Live up to your responsibilities and duties, please. If not for yourself, but for your loved ones. Like, seriously. It's not it's not hard. It's not hard. You signed up for the position. Like, just do it. Do the job. Simple as that. You've already signed up for it. Just do the job. Anyways, I'm Matt Morgan. I'm out of here. Another episode of Car Musings. Keep your integrity in check. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next episode. Take care till then. Bye for now.